Are you applying for a rental home and you keep getting declined? Well, my name is Claudia Flores. I'm a real estate agent in Houston, Texas, and I also do property management in the Houston and surrounding areas. So today I'm going to tell you how to avoid getting declined, how to have a better possibilities of getting approved, and stop wasting your time, your money. So without further ado, let's get into this. Here's what a landlord is looking from you: income, credit, and criminal record. So we're going to start with number one, which is income. Most of the time, a landlord is going to require 3 times the rental amount. Example, let's say the rent is $1,000. In this case, you'll have to make sure that you can prove that you at least make $3,000 a month. This is where you can get your application declined. If you do not make those $3,000, or you cannot prove that you make this $3,000, you can get easily declined. This is not from a realtor, but I'm going to tell you from the management side, from the property management side. You can say you make $3,000 a month. You can tell me you make $5,000 a month. You can send me and tell me that you make $6, $7, $8, $10,000 a month, but you cannot prove to me that you're making those 3 times the rental amount. How can I prove it? Well, it's very easy. If you get paid with a pay stub, perfect, no problem. Go ahead, submit your application, submit at least 2-3 months of your pay stubs with your application. If you, on the other hand, you get paid cash, make sure, I hope that when you get paid cash, at least some of that money is going to your bank account, and you should be able to provide that bank statement as proof of income. In that case, no problem. If you have now been able to prove that you make at least 3 times the rent amount and you've submitted everything, check, check, you've done great. So far, you're great. You've met your requirement number 1. Requirement number 2, credit. Yes, this is a rough one. This is a tough one. This is where I see a lot of problems. But let me tell you, if you have a 580, anything under 580, you're like, anything above 580, depends on what property also you're looking at. If you got like a 640, you're there. If you have a 700, oh my God, perfect. If you have an 800 credit score, you're awesome. Like, I'm going to tell you, where do I get you to sign that lease? Okay? But if you have credit issues, please, 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 be very honest. When you're filling out that application, do yourself a favor. Make notes. Make sure that your agent knows. Make sure that whoever your landlord is knows that you have credit issues. It's better to always be honest, because let me tell you, once we run that credit application, it's going to come out there. There's no hiding. You're not hiding anything, okay? Please, do yourself a favor. Just be very honest. If there's an excuse, put a letter maybe. Maybe go ahead and type a letter and submit it with your application and give that great story. Everyone has a great story, believe me. I've been doing this for over 18 years now, and usually everyone has a good credit. Now, there's few things that we tend to oversee. A lot of us have those college loans. We oversee those. There's a lot of medical collections. We might be able to oversee those. Okay? Your credit will depend on what is dragging your credit score down. How old is your bad credit? There's a lot of things to consider when it comes to credit. Like I said, just be very honest. Put as much information. If you already know that you have credit issues, make sure you put that on your application. Make sure that you submit it with a letter of explaining why. Maybe you went through a divorce. I don't know. I'm sure you have a great story of why you have a 500 credit score. Okay? So, anyways, If you have a bad credit, I hope you can work through that, and I hope you can make your credit better. So that's credit. Requirement number 3, criminal records. Okay, that's a rough one too. Okay, here's the very important on criminal records. Just like I told you on the credit, the importance of filling out your application and not omitting information. If you know you have criminal history, make sure you put that on your application. Remember, when I run this credit report for you, it's going to show. So just, if you already know that you've been convicted, go ahead and put it on your application, okay? And like I said, I mean, just like with the credit report, I'm sure you have a great story to go with this application, with this, why you were convicted. Maybe you were too young when you had that conviction, whether it's a felony or just, I don't know, maybe you were happy and you had a few drinks and you ended up in jail. Maybe you were with the wrong crowd. I don't know, whatever the story is, okay? But just make sure you do not hide it. It's better for you to say it and put it on your application and write a story with it and submit it with your application. Then saying that I have no felonies and I have no criminal records, I'm a saint, and then I run this credit report and it's like a list, a long list of the American Most Wanted, okay? Sorry, it's just a joke, but you get the point, right? Do not omit information. Just be very honest and provide as much information. I know sometimes it's better not to give too much information, but in this case, I assure you that it's better to give more information. Here's other things that I get all the time. When you fill out your application, make sure that you're providing your social. Without that social security, I can't run your credit. I can't run anything. I understand sometimes you don't want to provide it. Maybe you don't want to fill it in your application. Maybe because you don't want your agent to know. That's fine. But make sure that whoever is running your credit report knows what your social security is. So maybe give them a call and say, hey, my social security is blah, 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 blah. Okay? The other thing, very important, is just like when I told you about the criminal and your credit, it's very important if you have pets. Make sure, especially when you have large or big pets, let's say you got a 100-pound pit bull, okay? Make sure that your agent knows ahead of time that you have maybe 1, maybe 2 dogs. Let them know, hey, I have one pit bull, 100 pounds, and it's like 7 years old. So give that agent as much information you have for that pet. I'm going to tell you a few things about pets. To have a better chance of getting approved when you have pets, especially when you have large pets and whatnot, maybe look for those houses that have all tile, that have no carpet. Look for a property that has fully fenced backyard. Probably a landlord who has all tile. It's going to be okay with having pets. If you're seeing or you're looking at a rental property that has no backyard and has carpet, it's going to be rough. Not impossible, but I recommend you looking at properties that possibly have tile or vinyl plank in a back lawn. I mean, you're going to need it anyways, okay? If you have a pet, you're going to need a backyard. So let's look for properties that have backyard, okay? That should probably help you better. Also keep in mind that you also need to notify your agent, not only because they need to know that you have a pet, but because more than likely they're going to require security deposit, and they're also going to, you might have to pay for a pet rent. Consider those things. I hope this video was able to help someone through the application process. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.